Hi YouTubers, and I went to see DreamWorks How to Train Your Dragon live-action remake. Spoilers for movie. It starts out with not too much fast-paced logos of Universal Pictures, and DreamWorks Animation then Hiccup narrates about Berk just like the original, a fake sheet that a random dragon steals, alerting all of Berk. Then Vikings vs Dragons battle starts. My experience with this movie was great and iconic. Same director Dean Dabelis does very good with this movie. Same stoic the vast actor Gerald Butler, very good casting. A sequel coming soon in 2 years from now. Good CGI. Basically everything is perfect like the 2010 animated film. Basically the same storyline but much better. Good writing and little bits of new stuff added. It ends with Hiccup narrating just like before, except this time flying toothless, then flying upwards, then shows us title logo, then new kind of, shows us most of Berk. Credits, then very long dragon pictures of credits, then Hiccup tapping his fingers while us the audience seeing a Night Fury dragon drawing. Enjoy. The last things I wanted to talk about differences from the animated movie and trivia. Anyways, let's get started. Differences from the animated film. There's a lot more diversity among the cast and background extras, which is explained as Stoic states that members of the tribe hail from different regions of the world. The cast tend to wear different clothes throughout the film instead of one particular look. Hiccup is shown to also wear blue tunics. Astrid and Snotlout are shown to also wear red tunics. The twins have been shown to also wear purple tunics. The designs for some of the dragons have been slightly modified. Terrible Terror eyes are more similar to a chameleon's eyes. Gronkles have crown spikes on their heads instead of thin ears. Deadly Natter heads are thinner. Hideous Zipplebacks have thicker necks, as well as their eyes being smaller and red instead of yellow. Monstrous Nightmare eyes are small and are on the side of their heads, instead of being larger and next to each other on top of their heads. The shape of their snouts is more narrow, similar in appearance of a crocodile's. And they 3 fingers on the wing joint instead of 2. The Red Death is portrayed as chunkier with a shorter neck and a larger thrill. Also, instead of gray, it's black with its head being mostly red. The Night Fury's wings have 5 digits points instead of 6. This film also adds the Skrill and the Rumblehorn as dragons that have been known to raid the village, which they also have been modified. Skrills have more of a frill around their head spikes like a ceratopsian dinosaur. Rumblehorn's side horns are shorter and more closer to their nasal horn. Certain characters are physically different from their animated counterparts as opposed to their actors' physical appearance. Hiccup is taller instead of shorter than the other teens. Astrid is brunette with slightly darker skin. Snotlout is shorter than everyone else. Fishlegs has tanned skin and a trace of a New Zealand accent. Roughnut and Toughnut are both redheads, as well as Toughnut being taller and skinner compared to Roughnut. In addition, they are much older than the rest of the Viking trainees, with the explanation that they failed dragon training 4 times. Stoic has a scar beside his left eye. Gobber's right arm and left leg are missing, instead of his left arm and right leg. This change was made at the request of the actor Nick Frost, who had knee surgery on his left leg. 23. In addition, Gobber speaks with more of a British accent than a Scottish. Phlegma has a prosthetic leg to replace a limb that she lost in a battle with dragons. There's also a shift in the characters' personalities too. Hiccup seems a little more confident whenever someone insults him, as when the twins mock him, he calls their stupidity for being held back. And when Snotlout mocks him for his name, Hiccup calls out Snotlout for having an even more stupid name. Astrid is shown to be a little more rude and aggressive as, in the Great Hall, she stares down Hiccup, making him fear for his life, also saying she's worked hard but didn't have everything handed down to her. She also gloats, saying that the big house Hiccup lives in will belong to her, knowing she'll become chief instead of him. Also after Natter training, instead of yelling at just Hiccup, she gets angry at the other teens as well for not taking their training seriously. Fishlegs is portrayed as very friendly throughout the whole film, as he never did mock Hiccup once and was even the only one very impressed with how well he was doing in training. Roughnut is mostly the same, but she constantly keeps trying to get on Astrid's good side, defending her from insults and saying how being girls they must stick together. Snotlout and Toughnut are also mostly the same. But during training, when Hiccup progresses, along with Roughnut, they're not so impressed but more off confused and in disbelief, but eventually are proud of him. Snotlout and Spitalout's relationship is featured many times, despite the two not interacting in the original film. The classification of dragons is not the one used in the original film, but rather the one used in the sequels. Fear class does not exist. The hideous Zippleback and Snaptripper are in the mystery class instead. Tracker class exists despite it being established later, with the Deadly Natter being in it instead of Shark class. Dragon Nip isn't featured in the film. Dandelions are used in its place. Hiccup makes a music box-like Toothless figurine that he keeps in his workshop. The scene where Hiccup and Toothless encounter the terrible terrors is removed from the film. In addition, the scene where Hiccup and Toothless sneak into the village to fix the saddle, and Astrid comes to confront him, is also taken out. In the opening scene before the raid begins, the original film had a dragon steal a live sheep. However, in this version the sheep it stole was a fake decoy which was actually connected to a string and pulley system, activating an alarm bell for everyone to react and be ready. Unlike the animated film, Vodka was mentioned more than once. In the animated film, Stoik says, "You're not a Viking. You're not my son." In the remake, the "You're not a Viking" line was changed to "You're not one of us." Hiccup and Stoik's apology in the remake is slightly different from their apology in the animated film. In the animated film, Astrid and the other Vikings walk towards Toothless and Stoik before the latter apologizes to the former. In the remake, they walk towards them after the apology. After kissing Hiccup on the lips, Astrid says, "That's for everything else." She didn't say the same line at the end of the animated film. In the battle with the Red Death, instead of inhaling Astrid and Stormfly, she uses her telepathic alpha power to control Stormfly to fly into her mouth. In addition, instead of Toothless shooting the Red Death, Astrid goes directly into her mouth and chops off the Red Death's teeth to save Stormfly. In the Forbidden Friendship scene, Toothless vomits up the fish's head onto Hiccup's lap instead of the tail. In the animated film, when Hiccup and Toothless kidnap Astrid, they take her to the top of a tree. In the remake, they take her to the top of a sea stack. Trivia. Cressida Cowell tweeted her support of the film shortly after it was announced. The movie seems to utilize live animatronics for certain shots. This is shown when Stoik holds down the Deadly Natter in the beginning. Hiccup retains the scratch on his chin he had obtained by Cloudjumper in the animated trilogy. All from Fandom website. That's it for today. Peace out, bye bye.